welcome back to Fèis Online. Now all week we have been using leaf prints, making flower prints. We looked at creating trees with different techniques, all aiming to do a wall hanging, banner, and we finished yesterday with this, which is a rough background. This one's on paper. Now to make it easier, I've actually stuck it onto a piece of card. I just glued it down, which makes it a bit more rigid and a bit easier to work with. I also, to give you an idea, did one earlier with a piece of cotton. So there's a finished one, you can see that. And this is using the same paints we were using, the acrylics, but this is on fabric. And again, I've just taped it onto a piece of card to give it some rigidity. You could put a dowel through the top and just hang it, but now that it's firmer, you could hang it on the wall as it is, put some cord on it. So it's different ideas. I don't know if you can see that properly. I will put an image of it up at some point. As we said before, this is your idea, your creation. So it doesn't have to be the same as this one. This is just to give you some inspiration on what you can do. So I think I'm going to start with some leaf prints. And here I have a piece of Arainn today, which I used earlier and came up very, very well. And I think I'll do these in green. Bit of green paint. I'm using a lot of green paint. I think I've got enough to keep it going. Maybe put a piece of paper under here. Just there we go. Like we did before, I'm going to paint the leaves. Everything I'm using here is from my own Arainn garden. It's been a really fun week with lots of different things. I don't know if you've been doing the other courses. I'm very lucky to have so many tutors. There we go. So, I'm going to lay that down. And maybe put it here. One. I'll do another one at the other side. The round leaves actually work really well. I don't know if you can hear that tapping, but there's birds all over the workshop roof. Happens when I put bird feeders near the door. Sometimes the squirrels run along the top and they're very noisy. There we go. Now what else have I got? Some smaller ones. I might do them in orange. Again, you can use any colours you want. Sometimes it's an idea to think on the colours you're going to use before we start. I always think about that, but then I change it as I go along. But that's okay. And even if you don't want to do the finished wall hanging, there's lots of other things you can do with these. If you've been practicing this week, you'll be quite confident in all the different things you can do with the leaves and the different techniques that we've learned. You may even come up with ideas I hadn't thought on. I'm really hoping that you can send images of what you've made. You can send these into Fèis or you can send them into the Facebook page. What would be lovely is if we could have a gallery of everything that we've been doing this week. And maybe there'll be ideas there that we've done that haven't, using the techniques that we haven't done here. That would be great. I'll use this again is my Acer leaf, Japanese maple. I think this has to be my favourite. It just works so well. It's always a good idea before you start just to make sure you've got everything you need. Sometimes what happens is when you go and look for other things, if you're like me and you're covered in paint, then, oh, I like that. I'm going to do another one of those ones. You get paint everywhere else. Sometimes it's good too that if you have, you can overlap. Don't forget, we can overlap. So I'm going to put that one here. Yeah. I want to leave some of the darker area for our dandelion clocks because they won't show up in a lighter area. Did everyone draw out the design yesterday? Or have you thought about it? Helps if you, oh, does that want to come up? Yeah. That's looking lovely. So there we have the start. I've managed to get wee bits of paint over here, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to take the smallest little cones. That one's actually, because it's had paint on it, it's dried two together, so we'll just snip them again. Bend them into shape. There we go. And get some white. I'll move this up a wee bit, make some room for the white. I seem to always spread out a little bit with my paint. then again, I don't want it to blend in with that. There we go. I'll have these here. One of these is better than the other, but that's okay. I could actually put one down here. Then I'll take my green, I need a smaller brush for this one, tiny brush, little. As we said before, you don't need to use all the things we've done this week on one picture. You can choose which ones you want to use. Sometimes it's too fussy if you use them all. So here we have some dandelion clogs. Can you see? Now I said yesterday that I was going to have two trees coming in from the side, just to be a bit different. And I think I'm going to mark the edge with, this is actually a furniture marker, but it's a bit like a felt pen. So I think just for this, I'm going to mark the trunk in here, take it up, a branch coming in here, one over. And we'll have one coming up this side and over. I don't really like that noise very much. I think I'll go back to painting. Oh. I'll take it up and I'll just lose it in about there. So that's my outline. What colour? I think I might use a grey for the trunk. Quite a big brush for this because it's quite a big area. Put some orange in it. Makes it more permanent. Yeah, I'll do. And paint this down. And on the side. And that goes over very easily the paint that we did yesterday when we put the background in. I put a bit of orange, quite a lot of orange in with the black, and that's given me a brown. And every now and again I can just use a wee bit more orange and then we get a different tone. So for the bigger areas, you really want to use a bigger brush. Confident with it. Definitely warmer today. It's lovely, the sun's shining. Thinking as I'm doing this, I'm wondering what colour I'm going to make my leaves. I wonder if you've decided on all the colours yet. So really, I'm using a sort of black and orange here, which gives you a nice effect. I want these trees to come over and meet. And some smaller branches. I don't want it to go all the way up because I think I'm going to have something in the background maybe. I don't know. I think we'll see when this is looking like. Okay, can you see? It's starting to take shape now. What colour will we make the leaves? Blue. I think I'm going to go with yellow for a start. And we'll have nice bright yellow leaves. And I'm going to use my pinky this time. If I take my pinky, like we did with the daisies, and I might do some daisies down the bottom like this too, and just dab on some yellow. It must be the warm weather that's making me feel like bright colours. There. Some of that. Always a good idea if you need them somewhere else and you've got your finger covered in yellow paint or any colour to use it up. Another colour for the leaves. It's not really enough and I want them to come right over. you see so far? I think we'll have some more. We need some more leaves, so I think I'm going to take the cotton buds this time. I never got there. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We had 7 the last time. This seemed to work quite well. Take the cotton buds, covered in paint already, and elastic band. Pull them out a wee bit. And I think maybe put some orange up there. Whoa. These paints come out quite fast, don't they? You could have purple leaves or blue leaves. You can have any colour you like. The cotton buds certainly make it easier to get a flowing idea at the top of the tree. Right up the top. We'll make one slightly taller than the other. I'm not a huge fan of symmetry. Maybe put some down the bottom. Now, I think on the horizon there I'm going to put a tiny bit of white wave, which will also cover up my pencil mark because it's a bit not that showing through. There we go. And a small bit of green in the middle of my daisies that pinned in there earlier. Can't wait to see how yours are turning out. Now, here we go. That's working quite well. The only other thing I would maybe put in the top is we could do a couple of wee birdies. Birdies are really easy to do. In fact, you can do them with a pen. Black marker. And all you need to do, if I can show you here, bring the card up, is just there we go. That's mine. I'm quite happy with that. It's got a summer feel of going down to Whiting Bay and looking through the trees into the beach. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what you've done with all these different ideas. I've had a lot of fun, and I hope you send them in to the Facebook page. You can post them in there, and we can do an online gallery of all the work we've done. Thank you very much for joining me.